Velkommen til Padelnørderne. Jeg hedder Mark Møller.
Og jeg er Oscar Semmer.
Det er afsnit 6 i denne sæson, og det vil sige en gæsteepisode. Men det er en lidt speciel gæsteepisode. Og hvordan kan det være, Oscar?
Vi skal til at slå over i engelsk.
Vi skal slå over i engelsk, fordi vi har den danske herrelandstræner, Sebas Alferez, med ved bordet. Og det er jo noget af en kapacitet. Og når man har en stor international kapacitet med ved bordet, så går vi jo gerne ud over vores modersmål. Det håber vi, at lytterne også er klar på.
For første gang, skal siges.
For første gang. Måske ikke for sidste.
Nej, det satser på at få flere internationale kanoner med, ikke?
Men, så vi håber, I er kyndige på engelsk, for nu slår vi altså over. Welcome, Sebas, to the podcast studio.
No, thank you so much.
We were kind towards you, so we didn't say any stupid things in Danish.
Yeah,
it's a pleasure to have you here, and as an international capacity, as a coach, I think perhaps many Danish players doesn't know that we have a coach with international results living in Denmark, coaching in Denmark. You have had the pleasure to be coached by Sebas as a part of the national team training. What do you think?
Really good. I like it. Like I said, or like you said, it's the first time being coached by you, really, in the national team. But I enjoy it, and I talk to the rest of the team. Everybody seems to enjoy it. It's a good team led by a good coach, so I look forward to it.
Thank you so much for your words.
I said in an interview in the last DBF 1000 tournament that it might be
the one you won.
Yeah.
Good to say.
It
what
might,
a coincidence!
Finally,
it might be the best national team from Denmark going to a big tournament, and also perhaps with the best coach yet.
Good take.
So we are not afraid to put a bit of pressure. We're gonna give it all. I know you as a coach, us players, and I know I talk on behalf of the 6 other players as well. The agenda for today, Sebas, we will go through 3 to 4 questions that we ask all the participants in our podcast, and then we have 3 topics. Okay. I sent you a message before. You were like, "Come on, Mark, give me a chance to prepare."
Just to know a little bit what I'm going to find.
Yeah, but I've gotten to know you over the last couple of years or so, and I know you like to be prepared. Yeah. It's a good quality in a coach. So we're going to talk about the future of the Danish paddle. We're going to talk about you as a coach, and connecting that to the national team. Yeah. And then I would like to ask you some questions regarding your experience as a coach, and also some anecdotes from the tour. We had the pleasure to talk a lot during the European Games, and I liked some of the anecdotes, and I think the listeners and Oscar would like to hear them as well.
But you didn't get to talk that much.
We get to talk a lot because we lost in the first round. So
we had time.
Instead of playing matches like Gitte and Maria, me and Sebas, we talked a lot of paddle. I didn't play too much, but we talked.
You had a lot of
we
good
found
talks.
a difficult match there.
Yeah.
So we had time to talk a lot and to know each other.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was a good time invested.
Times.
The first question we would like to ask you is you're not only coaching, you're also sometimes playing and still enjoying the game. Who is your favorite partner as a paddle player? Who would you love to have by your side?
Here in Denmark?
Yes. So it can be like looking at your life, but it can also look at like the present moment.
Yeah, in the present moment, of course, I had the pleasure to play with several players here from Denmark. But I have to say, of course, Alex Logan. I think is the kind of person that fits perfectly with me on the court. So, because the mentality, the most important thing for me when I'm competing is, of course, to have fun. And I think he has the same goals. I remember a tournament where we played in Clua. We started the match with a lot of difficulties, and it wasn't easy. But finally, we get our level because we were just smiling, trying to get fun, and that's the reason why we finally did it. So if I have to choose one player, it's not Danish, but it's Alex.
He's basically Danish.
He's basically Danish.
Yeah.
So
And perhaps a player that we will face in the European Cup on the English team.
Unfortunately, because I've tried for the last couple of years to convince him to get Danish citizenship so he can play for Denmark.
Perhaps he will come. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows?
But he's proud to be Scottish, so it's gonna be difficult.
Yeah. And I can tell you that, for example, Victor Fradsen, he is, for me, I don't know how to say, but he's like a little son on court. He is always willing to learn. I played, I think, 3 tournaments with him, a lot of matches, training matches too. I can see him with the eyes, with the, like this, with the ears. Never with a bad face, never complaining, never. So that's the guy I have to choose. If you ask me for a Danish, it's Victor for sure.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Two players that we know and like, both of us. So we like that answer. Now it's going to be a bit more difficult question, Sebas.
I'm ready.
Do you have someone around you in your everyday life in pro paddle that are really like thinking too highly of themselves as a paddle player? And would you like to mention their name? It can be that you think about 1 or 2 names, but you're like, I'm not going to say anything.
You can also say Mark Møller if you think it's...
I was trying to... But he said pro paddle, so...
Oh, it can be everybody in the Danish paddle community. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, someone that thinks perhaps a bit too highly of themselves as players.
That's a good question, because in this sport, almost everybody.
Yes. There's a lot.
Yeah,
especially at the lower levels, they really.
And I actually think it comes from a good place, because in paddle, I feel like you can find flow on court, and you can feel, shit, I'm good. And it's like you can get that feeling, although you're not necessarily amongst the best players in Denmark.
Nice way to put it.
There is a difference between playing in your club, in your venue, weekly, in a Monday afternoon, then competing in the weekends. If we are talking about level, the real level is, for me, is when you are in the competition. So you can be a really, really good club player, and then when something is inside here, of course, the level is where you are doing in the competition, when you feel that you are looking for or playing for something.
Then let me ask you another question. When we take your experience into account, what is your best tip for a player that has a huge gap between their training level and their competing level?
The self-demand.
And what do you mean about the self-demand?
Self-demand is too easy for me to say that for you to reach your best level, you have to get fun. But turning around is like the only way to get your best level is having fun. Once you know about that,
for sure.
Once you put all the things out and just playing, thinking about what you are doing in that moment, not thinking about what's coming, people see me, the tournament is my life. When you are relaxed down, then is when the shots comes and when you can play easily. So the requirement, the self-demand needs to be something that I like to say is common sense.
But I feel like some players often misunderstand the thing about having fun. It's like finding your core motivation, where you thrive, and it can be different from player to player. So
of course, a lot of different players competing, but I think this extremely tension or extremely self-demand too high doesn't allow you to play calm. It's not the same. You want, of course, you want to win. Of course, you want to play good, but that's a paddle match. That's all. So I think if you clear your mind, you can be relaxed and you can play padel. You can see where the space is. You can take better decisions. You can play padel.
We would love to control whether we win or lose, but it is difficult. It's usually not 100% in our own control. So I had a coach tell me once, control the controllables. It sounds like easy, but just because it is a simple sentence doesn't mean that it's easy to execute.
The professional padel players, they are doing that every day, and their life is about padel. They get money, they take care of their families, and once they are on court, they know that it's the most important thing for them. But you have to put aside all those things and just focus in, if I make a mistake, if I put the ball into the net, if the ball goes, my lob goes out, in 5 seconds you have another opportunity. So that's my vision, and at least I'm proud of that, because me as a player during all my career, almost all my partners said that, okay, this guy is a good partner. So that's the most important thing for me. Yeah,
I like that. Now we go from a difficult question that led into coaching philosophy now to perhaps a more positive question.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite player on the international level?
That's easy. For me, Sancho Gutierrez.
And why is Sancho your favorite player?
I think you can learn how to play padel only see him playing. He's different. He's smart. He's intelligent. For me, he's fair. He's polite. I saw Sancho Gutierrez down in the score. First set down. In the second set down. And the referee said that the ball was good for the other team. And he stopped the match, said, no, my ball was out. So that's for me is crazy. That's what we need. When we teach, we used to focus in how to do the volley, how to do a bandeja. But man, that's the most important thing. You need to respect the sport. You need to respect your opponents and everybody. So he is so good like this. It's impossible to find a moment where he's not acting polite and correctly. And on top of that is the way he plays. He's intelligent. He faces, perhaps not now because he's 41 now, but in his
prime.
In his prime, you can see him facing LeBron, Galán, those guys.
Being very relaxed, like you mentioned before.
Yeah. That's padel. That's padel. The vintage padel we had talked.
Why are you looking at me when you say vintage padel?
But gancho, changing the pace with a lot of tools, managing balls from the back, transition. For me, that's padel. Not what we are set to see now. We used to see LeBron, Galán, Coelho, those really, really powerful players that they changed the sport. And for me, it's not the padel that I used to see. I love the padel where you can play 6, 7, 8, 9 times, looking at the ball moving here, there, then forcing them to look for solutions. That's for me, padel. And Sancho is the mirror for me, where you have to learn.
He's also one of my favorites. And when we talk about Sancho regarding his sportsmanship, I saw one match, I think it was in Brussels a couple of years ago, where it's a match point for Sancho and his partner. He has an easy tap out and Alex Ruiz is laying on his back and his watch is opening. Mm-hmm. And he raises his arm just before Sancho is doing a tap out and says, replay the point. And Sancho is just standing there, taking deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Yeah. And you could see he was furious, but he was controlling himself. Yeah. And there was, of course, a camera right in his face during this referee call. But I would actually like to ask you about another Sancho story, Sebas, already. You've been coaching one of the players with the best rolos in the world.
Yeah. The best.
We talk about two. When we talk about the perfect rolo, we talk about two. And the statistics from Padel Intelligence backs it up. It's Franco Stupashuk, one of your favorites, and it's Javi Ruiz.
Yes.
But Javi has a higher percentage win rate hitting the fence than Stupa.
But then we are not talking about the trainings, you know?
No, this is
only in the matches.
This is data.
If we can take and count the trainings, the average is going to be, it's amazing.
You told me he could hit Rulo from all over the court.
It's amazing. And not the Rulo is, of course, everybody knows Javi Ruiz Rulo. When I was his coach, a lot of people around us, why he is not playing por tres, why he is not, because sometimes he had the ball easy to, and he preferred to go to the Rulo, he preferred to go slow here, and that's Javi Ruiz. He's that, and the Rulo is crazy, but his forehand before the glass is one of the best. I remember Bella saying with us there, Javi, how much did that cost? I want to buy your forehand before the glass.
And then he just said, you just need to get Sebas as a coach.
It's something that he brings,
Born
you know?
with it,
It's amazing.
But
he used to play tennis, no?
Yeah. High level tennis.
Yeah. And that's also two quite important shots in tennis. You have the forehand, of course, from tennis, and then the kick serve. So it's like a natural feeling, but as a coach, it's also like adjusting his game to paddle without taking his biggest strengths away.
Of course.
And how did you trying to find that balance with Javi Ruiz?
It was I don't want to say easy, but it was fast. The thing with Javi is that we were friends before starting coaching him, and we had a talk there. Okay, let's start. And he started full gas. He started training every day. The funny thing with Javi is that we were living in Granada, and then we started in the 36th position of the ranking in World Padel Tour, and we get the 6th position.
It's just for everyone listening. It's number 6 in the world. Number 6.
6.
Quite impressive.
Yes, it was. And it was like this. The funny thing we have is that, as you know, all the players, they go to Madrid to get the rhythm, to train, to play games. But Javi was in Granada with me. We were training, and then he traveled to the World Padel Tour. And in 1 week, if we want to focus in, because you can see videos from Javi in the very beginnings, and then it's too easy to see the improvement. We were talking about how to adjust the overheads. I have for professional padel players, I have profiles, profile 1, 2, 3. We were working in this, and then you see him in quarterfinals against Sanjo doing the things, like this. It's something that it was easy for him to understand the game and to change all the stuffs he had to change. And the most difficult thing for him is the understanding how to face those professional padel players, because he was new. They all knew from each other from the junior stages. Okay, and Javi was new there. And I remember him telling me, because we were adjusting the returns or something, and I remember he said, Sebas, when I tried to attack, I found an attack from them. And for me, it was a good learning, because, okay, that's what he feels there. So we need to adjust the timings, the time you use to play. Sometimes if you want to go fast, it's going to be easy for them. So we spent a lot of time analyzing the game and how to face those players, and we finally did it. So
he did pretty well.
He did pretty well.
And I have a quick question. You said that you guys were training in Granada, and as you said, a lot of players, at least nowadays, are in Madrid and Barcelona. This is where the biggest majority of professional players are located. How do you do it in Granada? Is the sparring good enough, or do you do a lot of basket, a lot of match play, a lot of different game situations? How do you go from getting a player from the ranking of 36, like you said, to 6? How is the training structured?
For me, my style is not to put 4 players in the same court. I think when you have an okay level, you need to work 1-to-1. So I can tell you that 90% of the times during almost 5 years training with Javi, 90% of the time it was 1-to-1.
One-on-one trainings.
Yeah.
So a lot of drill,
baskets,
like play drill. Okay,
baskets.
Also basket.
No, baskets.
And that's also that's a bit like different than some academies. Also the way actually we run our academy as well. I think it's also finding the right player connected to the right coach.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at our team in Move Your Game that you also used to be a part of, when I train myself, I love the basket. I would like to do 90% of my training is with the basket. Yeah. When we talk about Alex Loughlin, for example, he would prefer the other way around. Mm-hmm. He's motivated by the game-based situations. Sure. So it's like finding the right balance. I don't know how you feel about it. How many % would you prefer be from the basket and then be from live ball?
Yeah, it's difficult to put like a percentage on that, but I do a lot of 4 players on court. But that's because I'm super fortunate to be able to play with like Vindal, Albin, Vasquez. Mm-hmm. And up there, they do a lot of like match-based drills, especially like regarding if I played this weekend, we like have a talk about what went well, what went wrong. And then the things that didn't went so well, we try to implement then in different like playing drills. And
it used to be different when we played a lot together.
Yeah,
it was more
the
basket based, and now it's changed to more game based.
Yeah, and that's also like for me when I'm in Sweden along with Simon, Albin, Vindal, Guder, and when Alex is there. For me, it makes a lot of sense when I have those players at hand to have the sparring against them, and then when I'm in Denmark, maybe do some more like basket drills.
For me, is the way to improve as a player. I will focus more in the technique because, for example, for me as a coach, if I'm in the bench with you and I'm telling you, okay, Mark, let's try to play now a chiquita here, and then we're going to play the lob there because the space, blah, blah, but you have to know how to do it.
Yeah.
So
it's a mix.
It's a mix.
You have the tactical opportunities that your technique allows.
Exactly. Allows you. So at least with Javi, it works. Uri Botello was his partner. He was in Madrid. Javi was in Granada with me. And I think that real training together, it's not happening. So they were training, and it worked with them. Saying that, for example, Bela and Juan Martín Díaz, they were living in different cities. They were not training together, and that was fine for them. So
yeah, I think number one as a couple, 13 years in a row, that was quite impressive. And when you talk about Uri Botello, I think you can find some old streams of me playing many years back with a stretched arm bandeja, inspired and powered by Uri, because he had that famous. But actually, the connection we made to Javi Ruiz came from your favorite player Sanyo.
Oh, yeah.
And Javi got to like you mentioned to a very high ranking, and he got an offer from one of the best players. And can you tell me the story you told me in Krakow about Sanyo and
you can hear Sanyo's interviews talking about Javi. He said several times that Javi is at that moment was his favorite player. Sanyo said that. Okay, when I hear that, it's like, okay, Javi, let's talk. And it's true that it was close. But Javi preferred to stay with Uri, because they were doing well. So it's a player decision. Of course, I tried to talk to him, and it was the thing is that they did so well. They were in the finals. They won the European Championship as a team. They were in the national Spanish team. So the results were there. But of course, having the opportunity to play with Sancho is amazing. But he decided to continue with Uri. So fair enough.
That's crazy.
But he got the offer.
And
Yes.
He was close to, you know how the players talk, and it's not always something definitive, but it was close. There were conversations. So.
And it was not like around this area that era that Sancho was number one in the world with Maxi. He has been in that position, so it's quite crazy to like not go with the perhaps the best right side player at the time. Yeah. But we don't know. But perhaps Javi is like you with the values as a human being comes first, and then the results come second.
We have to ask Javi.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah,
he knows. Yeah. I actually have another question. We talked a lot about the legends of the game and vintage paddle when we were at European Games. And which players from the old era would you recommend the listeners to Google search and watch some videos of?
Javi Ruiz.
Yeah, we have Javi Ruiz, we have Sancho, but can we add more names to the legends list?
I think we have to talk about Cristian Gutiérrez, El Gordo.
Yeah, a big guy.
Big guy.
The warrior? No?
Not the warrior. It's Cristian Gutiérrez.
Ah, yeah.
He's a guy, he's now coach too.
Ah, yeah, but
the warrior Mati Diaz, one of my favorite players, and also who's Memedovic, the former national team coach. He liked him as well. But like Cristian Gutiérrez.
Cristian Gutiérrez is doing everything with his hand, you know. But we are talking about against Gabi Reca, against Nerone, against all the top players playing amazing. So if you can look for him, Cristian Gutiérrez. The times when he played, I think, with a Víbora, but it's amazing. Of course, we have to talk with about Juani Mieres. There is a game that you can look for. It was Sancho and Nerone versus versus Mieres and Pablo Lima. It's in outdoor courts. I think the surface is brown. This match is amazing. It was 7-8 years ago. This match is amazing. Talking about Padel Vintage, there are several points there with the people, with the viewers just glue, you know, in the glass, in the fence. Amazing. So for me, Cristian Gutiérrez, Juani Mieres, and of course Pablo Lima.
Now it's some of the big legends. So we know some of them. I've watched some paddle, but of the names and the players you mentioned. But actually, Cristian Gutiérrez, I haven't watched too much.
No.
Now, Sebas, we go from like the old days to the present. Yeah. So I would like to talk to you about the national team. You are new national team coach this year. We were at the Nordic Championship at very slow, cold conditions. Now we're going to Madrid in very fast conditions, we presume. Exactly. How have you been taking this job as a coach, and also what do you think about the players have been changing a bit through the the lineup, and what do you think is important when we go into the European Cup this summer in Madrid?
Yeah, of course. First of all, I must say thank you to the Danish Padel community, because they treat me so well from the very beginning. Thank you for the trust. I want to say thank you to Christopher and to the players, because I really feel this very, very great welcome. So that's it. Talking about the national team is a gift for me. I've been coaching padel over the last 22 years. I run academies, I did a lot of things, but it's my first time managing a national team. So I'm not only here to teach or to coach. I'm here to learn. I'm really, really sure that I'm going to learn a lot from this experience. And how it was at the beginning, I think I focus more in listen, in observe the dynamics, how to get to you. I did a lot of meetings with the players to really know all of you. It's good because I'm talking with you about you. So yeah. So of course, my first goal was, okay, let's know them, let's talk with them. And it's always difficult to pick players because there are like around 14 players with the level to go there. In both cases, for the Nordic and now, I had to pick up 8, which means that is not gonna be fair for the others. So for me, it's tough, but I did a lot of this invisible work you do in front of your computer, in your desk, trying to.
Yeah, we've been seeing you at different tournaments as well.
Yeah.
The Battle of Denmark, the DBF 1000 in Padel.
Yeah.
So you've been out watching different players play. You were, I think, you were at the national team, national championship as well.
I went there. Now, of course, that's necessary. It's something that I have to do to really know you and to base my decision in something. It's not okay. And I want It's the decision is well thought out with time enough. So, but yeah, it's not easy. But I have to say that I love to be here. I think I have a clear vision about what we want in that case. For the Nordic was different, as you said, and now to Madrid, 2 different tournaments with different conditions. Here in Madrid is going to be, as you said, warm. It's going to be
high altitude.
High altitude. It's going to be far. It's going to be fast. So we need to adapt our team to compete in those conditions. So we had meetings within the player group and with you as a coach. Which kind of patterns should we use when we play? How should we change the lineups? And we speak English, so of course we cannot mention everything because people might be listening from other countries. But I would like to ask you, what do you think the goal should be of the European Championship, like the definition of success from Denmark? Good question. I think in my deep, the goal is to qualify. I know the players. I know you, and I have enough information to really think that we can do it against all the European level is height, but I think that we are building a really, really, really tough team to play against. So first word coming to me is qualify, but the success is gonna be earning respect from the Padel community, from the viewers, from ourselves, telling them that Denmark is here, and that's the most important thing for me.
Do you have anything to add or question to Sebas? Ozzy?
No, I really like the mentality, the fact that you say, of course, the goal is to qualify, and I think you can maybe explain afterwards what qualify means, because it's a bit complicated with 3 different phases of European Championship. But Mark will talk about that. But the fact that we cannot control who we get, there's, I would say, some level, like gap of level between the best team and the worst team, if I say so, in the first seed group. So we cannot control if we get the best or the worst, and it will be quite a lot easier or not as difficult to qualify if we face the worst of those teams. But like you said, we'll do whatever we can. We have completed a team with 8 guys that want to fight for the badge, that loves to play for Denmark and represent Denmark. And the success is that we fight no matter who we play, and we give it our all. So not as much the score, we can control that, but we give it our all and earn the respect.
I think talking about, as you said, talking about the level of the teams, for me is about the experience. Of course, today Spain is where Spain is, and Denmark is where Denmark is.
Fortunately, we cannot play Spain in phase 2.
Let's see. But of course, it's about the experience. I think you agreed with me that Padel in Denmark is so new. It's a young sport now. So what makes the difference, and that what I realize in the Nordics, is the experience. You can remember the really tough matches we play against Sweden there. For me, it's a matter of time. So it's possible for them to get the level to compete against the best teams in Europe. It's a yes. The thing, or the key point here is how to manage this time. We need to get there.
How to develop over time,
How
to close the gap from now.
What the resource we are going to bring to the talent, to the young people, because I see here young players willing to play, to compete, to learn. So we have to, or we should give them the opportunity to belong to a structure, a quality structure, professional structure together. And I know that the federation is doing a really, really good job in this way. So we will get to that point. In 10 years, I don't know, but
the sooner the better.
The sooner the better.
Exactly. I will shortly explain the different phases. It's like the European Cup, like Oscar mentioned, is in 3 phases. We have phase 1, where a lot of nations are fighting for 4 spots. The 4 spots, the 4 countries that win each group will go to phase 2, where there'll be 16 teams fighting for another 4 spots in different groups, and then they go to the final stage, where the top 4 countries in Europe is already qualified. It's the semifinals from last year's European Cup in Sardinia. It's of course Spain, it's Italy, it's France, and it's Portugal. So that would be amazing to qualify for the final stage. But I like your definition of success: earn respect. You talked about the young players and also about the future of Danish paddle. I know, Oscar, you have a question for Sebas regarding young players.
Yeah, like you said, it might take some years for us to reach the level of some of the other big European paddle countries. But as a young paddle player watching this episode, what do you think those young guys can do if their goal is to be a part of the Danish national team, maybe to be a professional paddle player? What is your advice to those young guys? I've had some text me, what should I do? I said, train as much as you can, be on court, have fun. I think a good way to gain free knowledge is YouTube. There's a lot of tutorial videos. There's some
different quality.
Of different quality, of course. Be selective when you choose what to listen to. But also, like you said, there are old matches on YouTube. You can watch Sanyo play on YouTube. Being a young guy wanting to make paddle, be a paddle player for a living. How should you improve, and what can you do?
Of course, the word coming to me now is patient. Be patient.
A difficult word.
Difficult word for a lot of players.
Especially for some young players.
Especially for young players. But that's the key, is like, be patient, because it's going to be a long way. It's going to be hard. But the more is not always best. So for me,
Quality.
we can talk about that later if you want.
Could we say quality over quantity?
Yeah. But the thing is, yes, thank you. I need.
Thank you. I leave the episode.
The dictionary. So
that was
good. So good.
So, but for me, instead of course, seeing videos from players could help. YouTube videos could help, but and I know that the Padel Federation again is doing a good job there. I think we need to create an identity here in Denmark instead of copy what they are doing in Spain, what they are doing in Sweden, what they are doing in other countries, Portugal. We have to coaches, Danish coaches, to create our own identity. Because perhaps what Padel in Denmark can share, what is different from Spain. So we have to. I think we need to create something here in Denmark to help them and to. Okay, if I am a young player, now we started with the next generation gatherings. Hopefully, we are going to do it in the female team too soon. But okay, if I am 8 years old player. Okay, I know that I'm going to go to this academy because my goal is to compete in that tournament.
And there should be a good coach nearby all over Denmark.
All over, exactly, all over Denmark, and teaching the coaches all over Denmark.
I had the pleasure of doing a coaching course not too long ago with 17 passionate coaches, and also within the Danish Padel Federation. It was amazing. From all over Denmark. But if you could give one advice to a young coach, knowing what you know now, it could also be an advice for yourself as a young coach. What would you give?
Follow your own path. It's like, of course, me as a coach, I had the opportunity to work together with a lot of coaches during my career. I take things from all of those guys, but my methodology today is built on all those 20 years, creating a feedback with the players. That works, that not. So follow your own path. See videos, go to course to learn, but create your style.
It makes sense, you know? to like you mentioned also regarding the amount of basket feeding you had in your training with Javi.
Yeah.
That of course you learned from different coaches, but you did what you believed in.
Yeah.
This was the path for you as a coach, and you have other coaches doing it differently.
Yeah.
But like also the way we do it in Move Your Game is a new coach will be like an assistant for me, for Carla, for Alex, for Ossie when you were a part of Move Your Game, and then learn.
Mm-hmm.
Not because you need to copy everything, but take this that you like and don't take this that you dislike.
Because when you teach something, if you are changing a small detail in the backhand or in the forehand or something, you have to really believe it. You know, it's like if the player or the customer asks you something, you have to you need to know why yes, why not, what the consequence. I'm telling you this because, you know. So if you just hear something and just trying to, you are not going to have the tools for them to trust in you. So follow your own way and create your style. That's my best tip.
I think it's good advice.
Really good. Yeah.
When I look at the agenda of today, I think we're through every topic. Do you have anything you would like to ask Oscar here at the end of the episode?
Yes. I loved the answer for the young guys, patience and quality, because I think when I look at a lot of young players training in Denmark, they maybe sometimes lack both. a lot want to improve right away, and that's not always the case. Often you need to work hard, and then there's delayed effect on the hard work you do. And also, they think that 4 hours on court in one day is better than 2. But if it's 2 really good hours compared to 4 not as good hours, then 2 hours all day is better. But so I love that answer, and I totally agree. But if they want to work on some aspects, like is there something like, is it more the mentality? Is it the physical work? Is it the technical work? Or if it is the technical, what should they improve? Like, of course, it's different from player to player, but I feel like I would also advise a lot of players to focus on the mental aspect. I think that's a huge, like, undervalued topic of paddle. Something you also mentioned a lot when you talk. Like, do you have some advice? Is it important to get a bit of everything, or like how would you advise players to the career? Because I feel like a lot of players are listening and wants to have your opinion on that, because their dream is to be a part of the team one day.
I will. So for me, if we are talking about young players, because it's different talking about young, they have a huge path ahead.
Exactly. And so how to manage that.
I will go, again, 90% of the time to technique. Why? Because in the time that they are going to have to compete, to travel, to play with this guy, to play with the other guy, learning from coaches, learning from partners, learning for life, this understanding of the game will come. So for me, it's going to be how to manage, giving you tools as a coach, giving you tools to know how to place the ball where and with the speed that you want. So, and the understanding will come. I can put you an example. For example, I didn't mention it, but I trained there in Spain 2 sisters. They were the Muñoz, Lucia and Daniela. I started training them when they were so young. And we were training around 6-7 years in a row. Daniela get the first position in the ranking in Spain, and Lucia the second position. And we train 2 years per week.
Two times per week?
2 times. 2 times. So they came Monday and Wednesdays. 1 hour.
What did they do otherwise?
And then they stopped playing. And they faced all the stars now. And I faced them with them. So, but the thing is, 2 times per day, and all the players they face every day. We are talking about kids. So, and I'm not traveling with them. I remember only in 6 years, 2-3 times where I went with them as a coach. I went several times with them just to see them with the parents, and all the coaches telling me, "Sebas, what are you doing here?" So I want to see them playing. But you are not going to send it in the bench with it. No. What a kid needs to learn. If I'm telling the Lucia and Daniela there, okay, let's go here, let's go there, they are not going to think. So then when we are in the training, we can talk about it. But if you are a young player, make mistakes, record your matches, see your matches, see what you are doing well. Okay, in here I make a mistake because I tried to play a smash portraits. When I was moving back, setting back my position, it was not the correct choice. Okay, get it. So learn. But learn, you. Spending time. And if you grow up as a player, then of course you will need a coach. 2 eyes more telling you, or not telling you. I don't like to say telling you. It's like when I'm a coach in the bench, I want to be one more.
Yeah, you have like a talk, a discussion.
To share your perspective.
We had a experience there, for example, and you saw something, I saw the different, and we were having a conversation as a player, as a coach, trying to get a point in the middle.
And we were exactly like, I think you talk about the European Games also.
Yeah.
And we were like discussing, perhaps this is the smart thing to do, which was your observation, which I thought was totally correct. But I didn't feel I had the tools to execute that plan. Yeah. And then we're back to like the more tools you have in your toolbox, the more experience, the more possibilities and ways of finding a solution in the specific match you have.
For me to
back to the basket.
Back to the basket.
For me to improve as a player, and more if you are a young player, is create a big belt with a lot of options. And then the understanding of the game, if I have to put the ball out there, or how to, it will come. I don't know, but I'm not going to say easy again, but to see a match, to see, for example, you, Oscar, when you are competing, how long it takes to you to see, okay, this is the place to play. We have this lob here, and this guy is not playing so comfortable with the backhand or with the forehand. It's going to be easier to read those kind of things than how to play the perfect lob or because Padel is about precision and quality. I can see the same than you, but if you put the ball better than me in the place, you are going to lead the point. So for me, it's to improve your level, again, focusing the question, is working your technique, do a lot of repetitions, find different tools, and then compete, play matches, see videos, of course, to understand the game, but create your own style. That's my...
I like that. Like you said, find your own path as a coach. I'm sure that not all coaches would agree that it's the most important thing with the technical aspects and start there, but it's like finding your own path, do what you believe in. I like that a lot. Yeah. I feel like the time is up, and I think this was a very, very nice episode, especially for the fourth person in this room, Eric, that learned a lot about paddle. He has his...
is he still awake?
Yeah, he's still awake. He needs a lesson on court. He could book you in Pro Paddle. If you want to contact me or Oscar, you can do it via Instagram on Mark Move Your Game or Oscar_Sebas. And vi tager lige det sidste på dansk, fordi jeg håber, at alle lytterne derude har sat pris på den her engelske episode, og I må endelig lade os høre, om det er noget, vi skal fortsætte med, eller at høre Mark og Oscar på engelsk har været simpelthen forræderligt. Hvad tænker du, Oscar?
Ja, jeg synes, det var sjovt, men ja, igen, endelig kom med input om I kan lide det eller ej. Og så den sidste, jeg håber, eller vi håber, alle tre, der sidder her, at I vil følge med, når vi snart skal afsted til EM og repræsentere Danmark. Så tune ind, så snart vi ved noget om stream, melder vi ud. Og så lad os alle sammen støtte op om Danmark. Så gør vi det så godt vi kan.
Feedback i forhold til den her episode kan selvfølgelig også komme i kommentarsporet på YouTube eller på e-mail info@moviergame.com. Thank you for your time, Sebas. I know you have a busy schedule. Yeah. For being here and prioritizing, sharing your perspective not only with us within the studio, but also with the listeners.
Thanks to you to invite me.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.